Hey, Jasmine.
Hey.
Thanks for thanks so much for stopping through the podcast.
Listen, it's my pleasure. Anytime a black woman needs me to do anything, I typically I say yes. Not every time. But
I love
typically I
it.
like to say yes. Yeah.
But that's good boundary setting. You can't say yes to everybody, honestly. We'd be exhausted if we did.
Okay. Let them know.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm happy to be here.
Nice, nice. So can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jasmine W. I'm a stand-up comedian, host, content creator. I quit my job in 2019 to do stand-up full
Hey,
time, and now I'm here.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so we got to dig into that a bit. So you quit your job to do, content creation and like comedy full time. What was that transition like?
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I feel privileged because most people know that support me. I'm going through a divorce, but I was married at the
Okay.
time, so I had the support of my partner during that time,
Yeah.
and I just we had a conversation one day, and I said, "Oh well, if I want to do this seriously before I start continue to get promoted at my current job, I think I have to do it full time." And because I had the support of that person, my family, it was a little bit easier. So I created a plan and I just quit my job. I came up with all these things I was going to do in regards to my social media over the next like 6 months, and let my partner know I wasn't going to be making no money for a while. And that was just what it was. And so I quit, and the pandemic started after that. Sorry, my
You're good.
little egglet is making noise in the background. But anyway, after that happened, I just posted things online and see what stuck and see what worked, and we were stuck in the house after that. So I was sort of forced to be a content creator after that, and it all
Yeah.
worked out.
It definitely did work out for you. That's an amazing story. I can imagine how many people are listening and tuned in who want to quit their job to go to that next step or to follow their dream. It's
Yeah.
great to hear that you had that support, though. It sounds like support
Yeah.
played a significant role.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I can't even knock that, because a lot of times when people want to quit their job, a lot of people that I talk to, it's just them. It's just a lot harder. You have to, if it's just you and you're the only person you're relying on, I know it's significantly harder to pursue the things that you want to pursue. You have to do it on the
Yeah.
side for longer. But so yeah, the support, it did play a significant role.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing
Mhm.
that you have that background. So when did you find out like, yo, I'm funny a little bit. Like I can actually use this as a career. Like how did you know that?
Well, I've always been kind of witty. I was nominated most witty in high school. I didn't win.
Okay.
Okay, a white girl, but
Oh,
I didn't win. But I always thought, I was like, oh, I'm pretty funny or whatever. But I didn't think about doing stand up until I moved to San Francisco. I graduated college, moved to San Francisco, and I was thinking about what can I do at night in the evening, because I
Mhm.
worked a 9 to 5. I had student loans to pay. So I'm like, what can I do at night? And then I was like, I think I'm just going to try doing stand up, because my dad said he had done it a couple of times. And I was like, I think I'm funnier than him. So I just started doing it. So it wasn't like it was a calling or a passion. Like now as
Yeah.
an adult, I think about all the moments in life where I'm like, oh, this really came full circle for me.
Mhm.
The fact that I used to watch Comic View every single night growing up, I didn't know that that's what
Girl,
I'd
me
be doing.
too.
But okay. And now you have a podcast. You know what I mean? So things like
Like
that
God
come
is
full
good.
circle if you think
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. So comic you played a role in, you becoming a comedian.
I think it definitely did.
Okay.
I think it definitely did. I used to watch it every night, and my parents were strict about the things I would watch, but they let me watch that. I'm like, this is totally inappropriate. They would let me watch
Same.
comedy for some reason. But yeah,
I feel like we probably we grew up in similar backgrounds. So my parents were very strict and um really paid attention to the things that we watched as well. But we could watch Comic View. Like that was a part of our
yeah,
childhood. Like
yeah.
to this day, like me and my sister are singing the theme song of Comic View. Um
Okay,
did you hear that
I
they're
know
bringing
it.
it back though? Yeah.
I did hear that. I did hear that. And I would definitely watch it. I saw that Ti was gonna be one of the comedians on there, and I was like, that's trash. But other than that, uh, I'm so shady.
Why
But you know,
though?
other
Like,
because he's not funny. There's nothing funny about
no, no, no.
him.
I'm saying, why is
Oh,
he trying to be on
oh,
Comic View?
he wants to do comedy. He bored.
I feel like people got to learn how to choose their passions and just stick to that. Like, I know I have a license in cosmetology. I'm a better psychologist than I am a cosmetologist. So I'm not about to be out
Oh,
here
okay.
trying to open a salon. Like, that's just not me.
Okay. And listen, I'm a terrible dancer. When I'm around Black people, I sit my ass down. So I don't be on TikTok trying to dance and do all that. Know your strengths,
All
you
right.
know?
Know your strengths. Speaking of TikTok, so you have like an amazing social media following, and that's really where people like learned about you. They learned about Jasmine, and people probably feel like they know you. Like you have supporters who you were very open and transparent with.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you get comfortable with the idea of like being so transparent on social media? Like, what was that process like for you?
Girl, therapy.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, one thing that I've been working towards and you have to work on as a comedian is what is your
Yeah.
authentic self? What does that look like? And how do you show up as that person? Whether it's online, whether it's at work, whether it's your romantic life, you have to figure out how you can get as close to that authenticity as you can. So, I think it's just about me continuing to share what I want to share and be authentic, give what's my true opinion, what are my honest thoughts, where am I right now in life, and those kind of things that I just figure out how I'm going to relay those things to the people that support me online.
Yeah.
So, they get a glimpse of where I am right now in life, whether it's where I am in that day, how I'm feeling that day, or where my mind is when it comes to like what's happening in the world, or whether I am, where I am right now in this quarter. You know what I mean? So it's for me, it's just constantly trying to convey where I am, where my mind's at,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So you do a great job of like, being transparent, being authentic, but also incorporating aspects of like what's going on in the climate at the time. I specifically remember like your sketches with Biden when he was running for office, and that was hilarious. So like,
Thank you.
of course, what encourage you to like incorporate real life stuff into the things because you were saying all the things that we were thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what I'm an observational comedian. That's what we're going through. You know what I mean? And we were going through it as a collective. So I think people really resonated with it, And it's just when it's taking up that much of your life, you can't help but to pay attention to it, I think that's what it was. It was the election was just taking up so much of my life, and it was consuming so much of my attention, and it was making me feel all these emotions. So I kind of felt like I was thinking about it a lot. So that's where the videos came from. And plus I worked in human resources. I was an HRBP before I quit my job. So it's kind of like, if I was to fire this man, if I was to hire this man, if I worked in the office, that's kind of where it came from,
Right, right. So taking your real life experiences and kind of just putting it out there for the world to see.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what people gravitate towards, your authentic self, authenticity.
Repeat that for me. What'd you say?
Yeah. I was saying that's what people gravitate toward, like authenticity, like being able to relate to someone else.
Yeah, I feel like, people do gravitate towards that. They do, but sometimes I feel like people say they do and they be lying, because I'd be like, y'all know this person lying. Yeah, we see people online, they be lying, they be like, everybody be into it in the comments. I'm like, they're a liar. I can tell right now. But I think we like a little bit of both. We like a little bit of the aspirational aspect of social, and we like the authenticity. And if you can figure out how to master both, I think it's really good. But people do like authenticity quite a bit. I will say that. Yeah,
for sure. I'm even thinking of like, I literally just shot my sister and I, we have a podcast together too, and we were talking on our podcast about how like a lot of these motivational speakers and these like content creators are really just trash and are talking about things that they've never lived.
Yeah.
Like, you got to wake up in the morning, and you got to have a 5-figure day, and like, y'all are not doing this in real life.
Yeah, they're hoping to with your likes and comments and buying their little pamphlets.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're
Exactly.
hoping to
Yeah.
live that,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And yeah, I mean, just because, I was married, or technically I'm married, but been in a relationship for 12 years, there's a lot of people online talking about relationships and stuff. And it's like,
Hmm.
guys, like, cut it out. Like, every
Yeah.
relationship is different. You can't really listen to somebody else
Exactly.
for any advice. You just have to do your work on yourself and then kind of go from there,
Hmm.
because nobody's going to give you advice that's going to be life changing for you in relationships, to be honest.
Yes.
I just think it's all kind of silly.
I 100% agree. And I have the same sentiments, especially as it relates to mental health. Because mental health
Yeah.
TikTok is so popular. And,
Yes.
you got people out here talking about, like, I was diagnosed with this and this is what I did and this is going to help you too. But
Yeah.
also, like, I tell my clients all the time, like, you can't just take information from TikTok and what works for somebody else and apply it to your own life. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times people just say that stuff for like clicks and views. Clicks and
Yeah.
views. That's it.
Yeah. And I care a lot. I talk a lot about mental health, but
Yeah.
I it's a really big passion of mine, but
Yeah.
and I like to give the tips that I've done, and I think they're just general things that everybody should do. It's nothing that I feel like there's nothing that I
Yeah.
did that prescriptive to me or anybody else. You know what I mean? But
Right.
yeah, I think ultimately go to therapy. That's the one thing people know on my
Right.
YouTube channel. Go to
Yeah.
therapy. Y'all need help.
Yes. But
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Like, I love when I hear like people talk about their experiences with therapy and, even giving coping skills and things that work. I'm saying
Yeah.
the post that grind my gears is like, oh, if you watch reality TV all day, that means you have ADHD. Like, what? What?
Oh,
Since
yes.
when?
Okay,
Since
yeah,
when?
yeah. I
Like,
yeah, I've been diagnosed with a few things a few times by listening to other.
right, right. I think another post was like,
Yeah.
if you watch the same sitcom, like, or the same show every day, that means you have autism, or that's a symptom of autism. I'm like, I watch Martin every day. I'm sure I'm not on the spectrum because I watch Martin all day.
I saw a post the other day that said if you fall asleep to like CSI or something like that, then you depressed. You suffering from depression. I was like, I know
See,
people that just
like,
like the show.
right. It's these blanket statements that really just like really irk me. But that's why I love and appreciate voices like yours. Like you said, this helped me, and this can help you too. I think that's so important. And even kind of going into the mental health aspect, like mental health and social media there's a strong correlation between, like, the more time you
Yeah.
spend on social media, the more it can impact your overall mental health. And the fact that
Okay. Yeah.
you're a content creator and you do all these great things on social media, how do you balance that?
You know what? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I have been in therapy for years, probably
Mm,
about 4 years, with a break, during COVID, a little break during COVID. I also have a very strong mental health
mm,
foundation. So I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I don't know how. I don't know why. I think it's a blessing. I have a very strong foundation for my mental health. So I will say those things first, because I feel like it's a privilege to be able to say that. But also,
that's
it's just,
awesome.
you have to remind yourself. Like, there are a couple things that I do. Like, I don't use filters on any of my pics or my videos.
Mm,
Um, on TikTok, there are some automatic filters on there. I've gone into the app, I've turned them all the way down. So,
mm,
because when I didn't know that there were filters on there, I would get off of live. I would be on live for like an hour. I would get off and I would notice, hey, that ain't how I looked when I was on live. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's just things like that affect your mental health. Like,
Hmm.
it was affecting my psychology. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And people don't realize how much filters they're affecting your psychology, like how you feel about yourself, how you feel,
Hmm.
how you look when you look good, how you feel when you look good, and all of those things. So that's like one thing that I do.
Yeah.
Another thing that I do is I block people immediately. Like, I'm not. Sometimes I'll comment and then I'll block them, and I hope they saw the comment before I block them. Like, I'm going to block you immediately. And I remember one time someone said, You just block
Yeah.
people on social media that don't agree with you. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, it's actually not ridiculous because I'm here to foster people who have the same sentiments that I have. So why would I allow people that don't like
Period.
me, don't want to see my content, don't agree with me to continue to follow me? That's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I block people a lot. Those are like two major things that I think really save my psychology. Plus, I don't want to see other people arguing, people that support me arguing with you in the comments. Now I'm annoyed, you know, like it doesn't help anybody. I think it saves the people that support me from arguing. And it also saves me from having to look at your comments. And it saves the person because if you don't like me, you don't have to see my stuff. Can you hear me?
So we got a little connection issue. I don't know if you can
Oh.
hear me, Jasmine. Um,
I can. Can you hear
there we
me?
go.
Oh, let me see.
I can hear you.
Can you
Did
you
I
can hear me
freeze?
now? You
Mhm.
didn't freeze, I don't think.
Oh, okay. The screen went blank and then it just started loading. But we could just edit that part out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the last thing you heard? Did you hear everything?
So you noticed like people were doing and then it cut out. Or you noticed
Oh.
somebody would say, yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that one thing about people who don't agree or like what I have to say, if I block them, it saves them from having to see my content because they don't like me.
Hmm. Hmm.
It saves me from having to. It's to me when somebody comments and they like, oh, you're wrong or you're stupid or this is it increases my heart rate, you know.
Mine
So I block
too. Oh my gosh.
girl. So I
Mine
block
too.
you. I don't have to deal with that. And
Right.
then the people that support me are busy arguing with you, so it's affecting their mental health.
Hmm.
So I'm blocking you for actually all three of us. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I love to block people quickly.
See, I think I need to just start blocking people because sometimes I'll be with the foolishness. On some of those days, I do. Uh,
You go to their page first and see if they follow you. If they don't follow you, go ahead and block them. But if they follow you,
right.
you can kind of hit them with, you know, like let me get at you real quick.
Right. Yo, I remember. So like people say stuff all the time that I honestly I got to the point where I don't read everybody's comments. Like if I don't follow you, then I'm just not going to read it. Or if it's like a long paragraph, I just look at keywords like, oh, you said you want some stuff, so I'm gonna just not even read it. Um,
Yes.
but like I remember I posted something about racism and psychology, and all these white people got upset at me and like just saying, you got your degree due to affirmative action and just a bunch of stuff. And like
Yeah.
you said, like it would increase my heart rate. I remember like it would just like tear up my mood, and I was going back and forth with these people. Then I had to realize why. Like,
Yeah.
who are they? Like, you really just have to block people, otherwise it will impact your mental health.
It will. And then I like how often does it happen where somebody reads your comment
Hmm.
and thinks, wow, you know what? She's right. I've never thought about it that way. It's like, no,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
stuck in their head, you know. So
right,
whatever,
yeah,
it's easier to block and not have to worry about it.
exactly,
Take a deep breath
exactly.
and block them.
That's it. That's it. That's all. I think another major part of mental health is really being comfortable with the information that you choose to share and the information you choose not to share. So I know for you, like one of the bigger things that you choose not to share is like your journey with motherhood.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, uh
Well,
yeah,
my journey is right this second, girl. Okay. This
uh,
is my
period.
journey.
We're seeing it
um,
firsthand. I love it.
Okay. But no, I think I feel like this is how I look at it. Like my journey with motherhood is my journey, you know?
Right.
So that's why I do share how I'm feeling about being a mom or what's affecting me as a mom, but it's not about my kid, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I share my journey as a mom without telling my child's business? Because it's none of y'all.
Yeah.
They didn't choose to be on social media. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
about sharing. It's about sharing my experience and making sure that I'm talking about my
Mhm.
experience and not my child's experience, you know? And I think that's important with relationships too, you know, like that's why I never shared my partner, because this is not about them. This is about me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do share my journey in being a mom, and I plan to share more about my
Hmm.
experience. It just won't be about my child. And some people are very odd. They're like, they don't get it. And I'm like, well,
Right.
you know,
It's
this is
not for
not
them
my
to get
kid's
it.
social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also that
Yeah.
boundaries.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
So
100% agree with you. I do think that a lot of what we see on social media with parents and the amount of information they share related to their children, even the way that they choose to punish them, the tantrums that they record, like all those things are problematic and it's a strong likelihood it will impact the parent-child relationship when
yes.
the child gets older if they see that.
Yeah.
So I think that's smart the way you're doing it.
Well, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you just hit that triggered me. Like when people show the way that when you show your kids online upset, like
Oh my
what is
goodness.
that doing for them?
Right.
It's like you could be having like a really a moment to connect with your kid about emotions and just really emotionally supporting them, but instead you're recording.
Hmm.
Odd, weird behavior to me.
Very much weird
Like,
behavior. Very much giving, I can't trust mom and dad with my emotions without them recording
right,
it.
right.
Like it, I think social media is a great place, but also it's some very weird behaviors on there.
Yeah. People
Yeah,
just too thirsty. People
for
too
sure.
too thirsty for attention. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's the thing that, you know, you can't really let it affect your kid. You know, I had a
Hmm.
yeah, I have a lot of views on parenting. I did one video about it, went viral, and people have just kind of like, you know, there's people, it's mostly black people too that don't agree with what I have to say about, but I'm like, actually, at the end of the day, you raise your kids however you want. This is my kid, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And people just have to respect that, honestly.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
do you have
I'm
kids?
I don't. And if I did, I wouldn't post them either.
You
Like
wouldn't. Yeah,
I
don't.
would be
Yeah, don't
very I don't
never
post like
post
my
them.
family. Yeah, I stopped after a while. Like once my page started growing, I stopped posting like my parents and like personal moments that I have with family. The intimate stuff
Yeah.
I'll maybe post on Facebook, but
Yeah.
outside of that, like who I'm dating, like I don't post none of that. Like I'm good.
Yes. I agree with that. I'll post my parents though because they're 60 something. They want to be posted. They like it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
share their
yeah.
pages, but they love
Hmm.
being posted. But anybody else in my family, you know, typically I don't post. I posted my nephews a
Yeah,
couple times. They're 18, 19,
yeah.
and 20. They want a little clout. You know, you post them, you
Right.
tag them a little bit, you know. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's smart though, especially in today's day and age, for real. So let us know, like, what's up with you? Like, what's next? Where can we hear you? Your comedy?
You know what? I'll be at the DC Comedy Loft on September 24th. So if you're in the DC area, DMV
Hey,
area, come out. I love DC so much.
yes,
Um, I love DC. So come out, and you know, I have a YouTube channel. I make fun of the this right now. I'm making fun of the Bachelorette. I'm making fun of Ready to Love on OWN. And we always make fun of Married at First Sight. So when it comes back, I'll be making fun of that. And then I'm also starting to share more personal
love it.
things on my YouTube as well, like mom stuff, just, you know, just all types of things for whatever that people ask me that they want to see or whatever. So subscribe to
I
my
love
YouTube
it.
channel.
Yes, yes, please do. We will definitely put your YouTube channel in the show notes. Listen, our DC listeners and followers, make sure y'all go out to. You said where is it?
DC Comedy Loft.
DC Comedy Loft on September the 24th is going down. Miss Jasmine is going to give us a whole show. So make sure that y'all show up for her. Listen,
Yeah.
I it was a pleasure just talking to you today and just, engaging in social interaction.
Thank you. Are people going to be able to see this or they only listen?
What do you want to do?
No, it could
Yeah.
be either one, but I just let people. I'm in
Okay.
full mommy mode right now. I got my mom
Period. Okay.
gown.
I love
I
it.
don't
It's rare
care.
when
I do not
it's that's the authentic place, right? That's where you are
Period.
authentically, and that's what's going people gonna gravitate toward. So so you cool with the video being up?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, Miss Jasmine, remind us of your social media handle so we can stay connected.
Okay, cool. So on TikTok and Instagram, it's JAZMYNJW. And on YouTube, it's comedian Jasmine W. Always click the links in my bio so y'all can. Don't ask me what I'm wearing, what I use on my face, all that stuff. Just click the link in my bio, and I have most of that stuff on there.
Why we can't ask you what you use on your face? Because your skin looks good, like you're glowing.
Girl, I came back from Jamaica about a week ago, so that's that.
Okay.
That's just Jamaica,
That's
right there. Y'all gotta
right?
go.
That's Jamaica. Honestly, that's on my that's my bucket list for 2023. I've never been to Jamaica or the Bahamas, so I need to go.
That was my first time. I had a blast.
Really?
I had a blast. I would go back in a
I
heartbeat.
can't wait
I
to
loved
go.
it.
Really? Did you do the Dunn's River Falls or whatever it's called?
I went to Dunn's River Falls. I went to the 7 Mile beach. We didn't do the rafting where the man rub your booty. I wish I would have done it, but we didn't really have time. I really wanted one of the Jamaican men to rub my booty, but he didn't. But yeah, we stayed at the S Hotel, which is very small. And I actually, each
Nice.
day we were there, I grew to love it more and more. So
Love
yeah,
it.
I highly recommend it.
Hey, so we're definitely going to check that out. Thank you again, Miss Jasmine, for stopping through.
Thanks for having me. Anytime. If you want to have me back
Okay.
again, talk about something else, girl, let's
Yes.
do it.
No, for real. Don't say that because I'll have you back now.
Have me back.
All right, we going to do it then. All right. Thank you, Jasmine, for coming through. And to the listeners, make sure you guys tune in next week for another episode of the Paging Dr. Shonda podcast, where we talk about all things related to life and culture on the Revolt Podcast Network. Bye, y'all.
Bye.